So VOD and NFT minting SDK demo. So next slide, please. Cool. So I just wanted to kind of lay the foundation here for the context in which we're shipping VOD MVP, and we'll talk more about what that is and what that entails. But it's video on demand, so the streaming, and the NFT minting SDK. So the streaming API is the hosted gateway to the Livepeer network. So the transcoding capacity that's provided by the network needs to be utilized by maybe like creator platforms. And so the streaming API makes it really easy for application developers to use the capacity that's provided by the network. So our sort of the thing that we really provide is this easy-to-use API that reduces the development burden, so that if you're an application developer who's building a creator platform, you can focus on making really great creator experiences and really great viewer experiences. And we sort of take all the complicatedness of building video infrastructure out of it. And you know, a little bit of context too is we really spent most of 2021 focusing on Web 2 applications, you know, sort of positioning ourselves around Web 2 applications. At the time, that was sort of logical, was where all the streaming volume was. But it's really only been at the tail end of last year and the beginning of this year that we've really repositioned the streaming API towards Web3 developers. And the needs, as you might imagine, of Web3 developers are quite different than Web2 developers. And I'll actually talk a bit about that in just a second. So the streaming API right now, live streaming API, that's sort of our core thing. So RTMP and SRT ingest and HLS playback. We also have multi-streaming, recording, a really easy to use dashboard UI, so you can get sort of a sense of the capabilities of the streaming API. And then Stream Health API, so you can communicate to your creators, your viewers, how well the stream is performing. Next slide. So I kind of want to focus in a little bit on this sort of transition from Web 2 to Web 3 for the streaming API product, because as a product person, it's been really fascinating to understand the different needs of these two groups. So what we've been hearing from Web 3 builders is how, you know, these are sort of the big buckets of things. And we sort of talked about this in the breakout sessions during lunch with Yondon. How can Livepeer help platforms monetize? And how can Livepeer create ownership for their users and facilitate communities? And I don't have great product answers yet to this, but this is certainly directionally where we want to take the streaming API. And so as a result of sort of these being sort of some of the big buckets that our users are trying to solve for their creators, in Q1 we've launched Video on Demand MVP, or if you're Chris Hobcroft, who I think he's in the other room, this is the dead streaming. For this will power like YouTube or Netflix, and then an NFT minting SDK, which is a bit of an extension of that, of the video on demand capabilities. Okay, so like I said, video on demand enables a YouTube-like application to be built using Livepeer. You can now import video into Livepeer and then get the benefits of the transcoding capabilities provided by the network for existing video. And this is a totally new thing for us. We have been in the live streaming game since day one. Being able to import existing video into Livepeer and get the benefits from the network is really, so it really enables a whole new set of use cases for Livepeer streaming API. And I'm gonna actually have Victor talk about the NFT minting SDK.
Sure, yeah. So on top of that video on demand API, we also created the first, let's say the first Web3 native feature of the platform, which is the minting of video NFTs. So we both integrate with this video on demand API that you can process your assets and then you can just export them to IPFS, and we make it really easy to actually build applications that do that and then mint an NFT from that file in IPFS. And that's the idea that we have for the demo today. And yeah, we can get started first with the video on demand API itself. You can see that we have a new tab on our dashboard, which is the assets tab, and it's kind of MVP and a foundation where we're gonna build upon. And this is an example, just a file that I uploaded previously. And if you click on the download URL, for example, you see that you can play back the file from Livepeer. So we provide the CDN, we do the content delivery. But right now, this is only playing an MP4 file. And so one of the things we are working like right now is having HLS support as well for imported assets. So you can bring a huge file and we get all the ABR renditions for you, and then you can play back on any device. You can build a nice adaptive content application, YouTube-like application. And yeah, just to show how it is to create an asset, we have this API where you just request for an upload URL, and that works somewhat like the S3 pre-signed URLs. You get a URL where you just push your file, and yeah, if you copy that URL, and then you make this other request, which is the actual upload of the file, and we have that just a put on that URL, and we have a file in there as the body. And then when you call that, it just sends the file to Livepeer and stores, and you can, that generates a processing behind the scenes, which is a task, and an import task. And you can see the progress of it, and now it's already finished because it's a small file. And there we have all the statistics and the spec that we probed from the file, from which you can iterate on and check things. And yeah, and on the last API there, you can see the actual asset object. So it has the ID. We calculate the hashes of the file just so, and they're immutable, so you can work with that assumption. And yeah, all the data that we probe from the video file itself, like the video codecs and the audio, etc. If we go on the dashboard, yeah, there it is. And if you click on the download URL as well, you can play back the file we just uploaded. Yeah, that's the video on demand API. And on top of that, we have the NFT SDK, which is actually, if you go on the fourth tab there, it's actually an NPM package you can use to build front-end applications or back-end applications, or both. Maybe you have a front-end and a back-end, you want to split the logic between your servers. You can use it from anywhere to do all the parts you need for uploading a file, maybe processing it, and then minting an NFT with a ERC 721 contract. And yeah, we can show, we have a demo application of that as well, which is hosted in our dashboard as well. You can just go to livepeer.com/mint NFT, and if you're logged in, you can access this. So we can just pick that same file, the jellyfish, and yeah, if you click upload, it's gonna send that to Livepeer the same way, doing the same process we just did on Postman. And after that, it already exports the file to IPFS as well, which is just another API call. And you get a token URI. So that's already in IPFS. And from that, you can mint an NFT. So since we can just keep the defaults there, like the contract and everything, and just mint. And you get the actual MetaMask. And that's just like calling a function in the SDK that abstracts all of that to you. Right, and we can just wait a bit to see the transaction go through. Since while we wait, so the SDK also has CLI. So if you're doing like some operations on your files from the terminal, you can easily also use the CLI from that same NPM package, and in the docs you're gonna see references to it. You can follow the docs, and then it just uploads a file from your local file system and directly to the API. You just need to provide an API key to it. And I think this transaction might have got stuck on testnet. You can try another one. Oh yeah, and also that normalizing for NFT part, that's one part I skipped, which is that files are normally can't just go the way they are to become NFTs. So for example, if you want to use OpenSea, they have a limit of 100 megabytes for the file. So if you upload a file that is too big, we also like transcode it down to a quality that Livepeer is going to support. And we also plan on adding other features on top of that, not only changing the size, but maybe you upload a codec that's not going to play well on the web. That's something you might want to process as well before creating the NFT. And then that's also something we're going to add. But the idea is that Livepeer is going to optimize that file for becoming an NFT and not just creating an NFT out of the raw contents. Yeah, so I think we're having problem with the testnet. We can go to the last tab, which was the plan B. That's what it's gonna look like after it's minted. And yeah, OpenSea already indexes all the blockchain, so as soon as it's minted, it's gonna show up there. You get a link, and it can just take like a few seconds or minutes to be loaded. But yeah, we got all the information there, and that's it.
The joys of a live demo. How much time do I have? Okay. So what's next for VOD and the NFT minting SDK? Victor mentioned HLS playback. That's sort of essential for the next steps for our VOD MVP. Thumbnails, especially if you want to create a YouTube-like experience, that sort of being able to have that sort of gallery is really important. Clipping, especially in the context of minting NFTs where you have a live stream recording or some stored video and you want just a couple of segments of video to mint an NFT. That's super important. Supporting additional video formats. So right now, really standard H.264 codec and then MP4. Basically, we want to build something where you can throw any file format at us and we can store it and mint an NFT. Also, we'll have a improved dashboard UX, so we're iterating on that. And then NFT minting on other L1s. We're attempting to mint it on Polygon testnet, but minting it on Solana and other L1s just for that sort of to create sort of a more chain agnostic product is where we're going. Next slide, please. And then what's on the roadmap for the streaming API more generally? So token gating live streams, as a product manager, this has been the most exciting of any of the feature requests that we've gotten. We've gotten more energy and requests for token gating live streams, especially in the context of thinking about ownership and community creation. Token gating is huge. So making streams private until and then making sure that like they have an NFT in their wallet and then allowing access to the live stream is sort of like the common use cases that we're getting. So that's currently in the works right now. MVP to be delivered soon. LLHLS, I think the need for reduced latency will always continue to go down. So that'll be exciting. And then doing a big push this quarter on reducing development burden through improved documentations. Our product is maturing and our documentation needs to mature with it. And then we had the conversations we had at lunch at the breakout, exploring what a fully decentralized API looks like. It may not look like the current API that was built for Web 2 developers, so that's where we're currently speccing something right now. And then becoming more chain agnostic. I think that's super important. Hack with us this weekend. We're at ETH Amsterdam. We're super excited. The development team will be there with me. And so, yeah, that's it. Thank you so much. Thank you, Victor and GLA, for the helping. And now, because I was presenting, Fran from, questions. Oh, I have time. Do I have time? Yes.
What about pay to unlock? So you can watch a piece of video and then you have to have an NFT or buy something to unlock it.
Token gating. So that's what I mean by token gating. Yeah, yeah. So right now, token gating is specific for live streaming. So getting just access to the live streaming. I think eventually we'll want to do token gating for like VOD assets. Is that what you're asking about? Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Totally. Other questions, Pablo?
So 2 questions. When where's the VOD being stored initially? Is that stored in your servers? And question number 2 is, can we in the future expect to add extra metadata to the VODs, like, yeah, I don't know, like speaker name, for instance, or things like that?
So at the point of trying to export for the like to create an NFT, you want to set the JSON metadata, or is just for? Yeah. So that's currently in the NFT minting SDK now. You can edit the JSON metadata. So that exists today, and so yeah, as we mature VOD, we'll also make sure to include that as well. So yeah.
What about if you want to have a collection and then a separate minting occasion where everybody pays for the gas instead of, because this is basically doing a one-of-one mint each time you're minting it separately. What if you want to have a collection of 500 and then have a separate page and have a minting occasion and have a duration, all that?
Yeah. I love that question. Eli, what did you have something to add to this? Yeah, there's nothing in the product that today, but I would assume that the platforms would use the existing NFT minting SDK, then build on top of it and add that logic in. That would, but of course, we want to make it easy for developers to do that. Right. Oh, I see what you're saying. Got it. I see. Yes. Yeah. Oh, cool. Yeah. Yeah, it's happening at the point of minting. So, yes, I see. Yeah, I think that's a great place to iterate for this. Yeah, great. Cool.